Good morning. I am Sandy Carpenter, and I would like to welcome you to the Marshall Middle School Veterans Day program. Today, we honor our veterans, and in the words of President John F. Kennedy, as we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. Let us begin our program with a presentation of the colors by American Legion Post 113. Please stand. Please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Patriots Pen is a veteran of foreign wars sponsored youth essay competition. The theme of this year's competition was What Freedom Means to Me. With the help of our Marshall Middle School language arts instructors, we encouraged our students to participate in this competition. Today, we will recognize the top 5 student essays at each grade level with a commemorative 9/11 t-shirt, and the top essay writers will share their works with you today. As I say your name, please come down, line up on this black line to receive your t-shirt. Please hold applause until the end. 5th grade, Janae Patterson. Hold your applause, please. Isaac Simon. Emily Larson. Caden Huffs. Kylan Garside. And line up on the black line, please. 6th grade, Elizabeth Weiss. Madeline Murphy. Isabel Cordes. Oren Brown. Charlotte Patko. Seventh grade, Josie Holland. Abby Dubbs. Dimitri Gergen. Rebecca Frisky. Eolani Hernandez. Eighth grade, Mina Moa. Malia Blumacher. Hugo Cifuentes. Saida Ali. Hunter Bauer. Please join with me in recognizing our essay writers with a round of applause. Our 7th and 8th grade orchestra, directed by Mr. Wes Myers, will play Caissons Go Rolling. And now, our 5th grade essay writer, Janae Tatterson, will share her essay, I Am Forever Grateful.
I am forever grateful. Veterans fought for what they thought was right. They fought their hardest to give us our freedom. Veterans have helped bring peace to the world since we became a country. But sadly, there are more wars to come. The word slavery comes to mind when we talk about freedom. Slavery was unfair, and many people did not get freedom. They wouldn't get food or water, and they would be beaten and whipped. But thanks to veterans, we now have freedom. The veterans of the Civil War helped to defend our union and defend the right for freedom for all people. If veterans didn't give us freedom, I wouldn't have the amazing friends I have now, and I wouldn't be at this fantastic school. I know that I can go to school with all types of my friends and be free. When I hear the word freedom, I think that I can achieve any dreams I want, and I can have my own beliefs, and I'm free to do what I want. The Statue of Liberty and the United States flag are some things that show us our freedom. Whenever I see the Statue of Liberty and the flag, I think about the veterans who made this a free country. Many times when we think about freedom, we forget some of those first veterans who fought for our country. We cannot forget anyone. We are all equal, and we all have our own beliefs, and that is amazing. We are all free to do what we want or need to do. I don't know about anyone else, but I'm glad that we're free. Every day, when I put my hand over my heart and say the Pledge of Allegiance, I look around me and see all of my friends, and I think how wonderful it is that brave and courageous veterans sacrificed their lives for each and every one of us. I'd like to thank every veteran for my freedom. I am forever grateful. Thank you.
And now, Elizabeth Weiss, our 6th grade essay winner, will continue this message of freedom with her essay, Life, Liberty, and the Pursuit of Happiness.
An essay on life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This is what freedom means to me. Freedom is not only something we treasure, it is something to believe in, a belief worth fighting for. In fact, we still fight for freedom today. Why do people love freedom so dearly? Because freedom is something every man deserves. Back in the 1700s, not every man and woman had freedom. They were subject to the extreme physical labors through slavery that we learn about in school today. We are so blessed we did not live in such harsh times. For what we take for granted each day, they had to fight for each day with the dream of one day being free. For many, true freedom remained only a dream in a world where they would have to worry about the basics of life and about having to be perfect for their owners so that they would not be whipped or tortured. Freedom is a way of life. I have had the blessing of freedom my whole life and can only imagine what it's like not to have freedom. Abraham Lincoln understood what freedom truly is. He once said, "Those who deny freedom to others deserve it not for themselves." I believe that is true. He went through the most painful times during the Civil War with the cause of the God-given right of freedom for African Americans and to end slavery. Men, women, and children were daily looking for freedom. To me, freedom is something people long for and what we still fight for today. For some people, saying goodbye to their loved ones who serve their country understand the sacrifices of freedom in hopes that they will one day see them again. We should thank not only the men and women that fight for freedom today, but our founding fathers who in the face of the tyrant King George III created the Declaration of Independence, this declaring the inalienable right of freedom for all people. It is my dream that one day all people throughout the world will know what it is to be truly free.
Good morning. Today we honor veterans. We honor their sacrifice and the duty they took on for the sake of our country's freedom. We celebrate their strength, their resilience, and we mourn for what some have lost. But standing behind any strong veteran, thousands of miles from the front lines of battle, is the soldier support system, which is oftentimes comprised of a spouse, parents, brothers, sisters, grandparents, sons, and in the case of our next speaker, the daughter of a soldier. They too should be honored on this day, as it is their support, their prayers, and their love that pull the soldier through during the most lonely and difficult times away. And when the soldier returns home, it is the entire family that adjusts to a new sense of normal. These families and our next speaker deserve a moment of gratitude. I'd like to thank this young lady for her sacrifice made for our country. She is the daughter of Sergeant First Class Jason Anderson. I encourage you to listen to what she has to say and think about what you can draw from her statements and from her experiences. Please join me in welcoming 8th grader Callie Anderson.
Hello everyone, and thank you for coming to this year's Veterans Day program. My name is Callie Anderson, and I'm an 8th grader here at the Marshall Middle School. My family means the world to me because we aren't an average family. We're a military family. My dad's name is Jason Anderson, and he has been in the National Guard for over 20 years. My mom has been a teacher for 18 years. I have 2 siblings, Caitlin and Keegan, who are in 6th grade and 3rd grade. And we have a dog named Sarge, short for Sergeant. Together, we make a military family. Growing up, I never fully understood why my dad was always gone. To me, he was just like a superhero, and he was off saving the world. It soon became normal to not see my dad for a few days at a time, but these days only grew longer. After that, in 2004, my dad left for his first deployment in Iraq for 14 months. I was only 3 or 4 at the time. My sister had just been born, and my mother was trying to handle 2 kids without her husband. He came back in November of 2005. Then again, in 2009, my dad was called back into Iraq. During the deployment, I went to a military camp for kids with deployed parents in northern Minnesota. That was when I realized there were several other kids in similar situations like me. I learned just how important my dad's job really was. My family went to several other military family gatherings, such as Operation Purple and Stakes for Troops. We would try to find any way of communication, whether it was sending packages or using Skype. We sent pictures, videos, and Girl Scout cookies. In return, he sent back videos of him reading books that he also sent. Different military family services also sent us books and movies on how to cope with a deployed family member. While my dad was gone, my mom took a lot of pictures. So my mom made a life-size cardboard cutout of my dad. We called him Flat Daddy. Wherever we went, we brought him too. We brought him everywhere. Our Christmas picture of 2009 included Flat Daddy in a Brett Favre jersey. I absolutely adore my family. My dad is the most courageous person I know. He's always helping someone. My mom is also very brave for marrying a man she knew could leave any day now. My siblings are some of the strongest kids I know. This experience was hard for everyone, especially my dad, but I'm very thankful he's still here and alive to be with us.
You put a face to the child of someone in the military. You stand for them and you bring inspiration and hope to others out there. And I'm thankful that I get to have you this year as a student. And now, Josie Holland, our 7th grade essay winner, will now share her essay, You Can't Buy Freedom.
You can't buy freedom. To me, freedom is a gift. You can't buy freedom. Examples of freedom are choosing to go to church, who your friends are, where you work, and being able to go to school. Freedom is something most people don't really think about. Some people are not as lucky as us, and they have to fight for their freedom every day. Some of us don't really think that someplace in the world they might have it harder. Veterans have gained us our freedom. They didn't give up when it got tough. They kept fighting until they knew we were safe and free. Veterans are courageous and honorable. They are a blessing to our country. They have made many sacrifices for our country in order to be sure America stays safe and free. Those in the military are ready at any moment to fight for our country. All of the people who fought in wars or contributed something to our country, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for our freedom. And I hope that the people who don't have as much freedom still fight for it. Never give up. If you truly believe in what you're fighting for, you can make it happen. If your freedom was suddenly taken away, what would you do? Would you fight to get it back or not do anything and let someone else do it for you? You have to take a stand for what you believe in. Freedom is something that you should stand up for, and you should be proud that you're an American. We should honor our freedom because it is something special. And we should always know that we are so lucky to be free. It is something we fought for and we will never stop fighting. Freedom is something we should cherish our whole lives. God bless America.
And now, Ms. Kaylee Anderson will direct the 8th grade choir in singing the selection, Seize the Day.
They are all around us. You see them in our communities, businesses, and schools. They are our neighbors, parents, spouses, brothers, sisters, and friends. You see, our heroes don't always wear capes, especially when they are out in uniform. They are more camouflaged than ever. They are our veterans. Today is a day to honor those who have served and are serving. It is our privilege to have Sergeant First Class Jason Anderson here with us today. With 22 years in the Army National Guard and 2 overseas deployments to Iraq and Kuwait, please join me in welcoming Sergeant First Class Jason Anderson.
This is what happens when you go print your notes at 5 in the morning and you're out of printer paper, so I think with the digital version here. Welcome. Thanks for the introduction. Sergeant First Class Jason Anderson. Currently serving with headquarters, one of the 151 out of Montevideo, Minnesota. Been 15 years full-time National Guard. 7 years prior to that. I'm a traditional soldier. I have a family. I'm married. My wife Angela. This is Anderson, all you students. And Callie, Caitlin, and Keegan are my 3 children, as you know, and our dog Sarah lives with us. Yes, 2 overseas deployments. We went in 2004 and 2005, as you heard, and again in 2009, 2010. The desert is not a good place to be. I'm just going to talk about my experiences over there a little bit. Really hot in the summer, miserable. Our troops had a lot of work to do over there. In the winter, it cools down a little bit, but it's still kind of miserable over there. But we got through it. It does rain in the winter occasionally. The desert does turn green once in a while, believe it or not, for just a few months. So my job over there on both my deployments, I went with Alpha Battery out of Marshall here. I was the unit supply sergeant. So my main duties were to basically manage the unit equipment. We went over there not as field artillery like you see over here now. We went over there as they call it Sec 4, similar to military police. So my job was to be in the commander's back pocket and manage all his equipment, his gun trucks, make sure the equipment's signed out right, reorder supplies, shelf stock, manage the arms room, all that. So it's quite a job. It's 7 days a week when you're on deployment, taking care of that stuff, making sure our troops had the gear they needed to go out and do the mission we had. There's some difficulties in going through a deployment. Just the physical stress at the mobilization site. We went through months of training prior to going overseas. Communication is not the best, and although it's good over here, it's worse over there. But long days as a supply sergeant, many days at 6 or 7 in the morning, we'd be out issuing equipment, and then again at 10, 11 o'clock at night, sometimes even we're just taking that stuff back in. So the physical demands during the mobilization can be difficult. And then just being gone from home, I was always wondering what's happening at home. What are Ange and the kids doing? What's my friends doing? What am I missing? Kids' first steps, rolling over the first time, birthdays, holidays, all that can be very difficult to miss. But nonetheless, we push on and get through. After we get done at the mobilization site, we'd head overseas. And on our first deployment, we were in southeast Baghdad. And communication was probably one of the worst things. That was hard to communicate back home. There was some phone service, wasn't always available. Cell phone service over there was pretty much non-existent. I did have a local cell phone, very expensive to use and not reliable at all. So we'd have communication blackouts where nobody could call home, email home or nothing if something bad would happen. So there was times we went for extended periods with no communication back at home. In 2009 and 2010, things were a little better as far as communication. I think I was able to call home more, maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks. So, like I said, there's so many things I missed as a deployed soldier that I can't get back, But that's part of our job, I guess. That's what we do. So, and just the single parenting, I can't imagine what my wife Angela was going through, trying to take care of the kids, not around. But nonetheless, both on my end and her end, we get a second family, so to speak. I'd have my military family over there, brothers and sisters in arms. We bond together and build friendships that I still have out there for how many years now. And Ange had her folks, my folks, the community, friends to go back to. So that helped get us through these things. Some of the other things we did, Flat Daddy, he was quite a guy back in the 75. He went to a lot of things here. So, in conclusion, I ask that you be gracious to our veterans and thank them, past and present. Offer support to our veterans and our families. Without our families, we couldn't do what we do. How do we thank a veteran? There's all kinds of different ways. Showing up to programs, remembering our veterans just like today, like you guys have done. That's awesome that everyone's here and we're having this program. Consider donating to a veterans organization. There's all kinds of them out there, whether it be financial donations or time. We're always looking for help there. Fly the flag correctly, respect the flag, and honor its history. And know the meaning of what the flag really stands for. Ask a veteran about his or her story and then listen to it. A lot of these guys have stories that you can't even imagine what they've gone through back in their day. Celebrate freedom every day. Enjoy the freedoms that we have over here and don't take it for granted. So in closing, I'd like to thank Ange and my kids for all the support they've given me over the years. My parents, mom, dad, my in-laws, and all of our friends that who support this military family. Thank you all for coming today, and God bless you.
And thank you. Once again, your daughter has shared your story for 4 years, so I was so honored that you accepted and come to speak with us today. And now, our 8th grade Freedom Essay winner, Mina Moa, will share her family story with her essay, Blessed with Freedom.
Blessed with freedom. Freedom is highly prized in my family. My parents consider it an amazing honor to live in the United States. My parents, as well as 3 of my siblings, came to America from Laos. They were refugees who survived many violent and terrible things. In 1986, my family was allowed to board a plane headed to a new land called America, the land of the free. Every single time I ask my mom to tell me the story, I remember how thankful I am to have free education, shelter, and food on the table. 3 of my siblings were born in Laos, while me and my 5 other siblings were born in America, where we get to experience this free life. I thank my parents often for the opportunity they have given us. It was always my mother's dream to come to America with her family, but being here meant she and my dad missed their parents and relatives. The violence has ended in Laos, and last February, my parents were able to go back for a month-long visit. They enjoyed every single moment of the trip, and I'm happy they were able to make the trip. I dearly appreciate my parents and the people who allowed my parents to bring back home. If they hadn't come here, then I and 3/4 of my family wouldn't exist. I'm so thankful for what they've done for me. Freedom is our hope. I hope my family's story will inspire a few of you the same way it has inspired me to become the educated, sheltered, and fed daughter I am today. I am happy to live in America every day. Even though I sometimes dislike school, I always appreciate the opportunity to have a free education and live a free life in America. Thank you, veterans, for fighting to keep America free and giving my parents the opportunity to come to the U.S. where we live life to the fullest. In America, dreams come true if you believe in them.
Mr. Christian Woodrow will now direct the 8th grade band in the arrangement America, Land of Liberty. Family Month was established in 1996. During the month of November, we recognize the daily sacrifices made by our military families. Right now, at this very moment, my niece, her husband, my awesome little nephew are making their home in Okinawa, Japan as part of the U.S. Air Force family. I miss them every single day. I would like to ask any of you in our audience who are currently or a current family member is deployed or is in the armed forces to stand and be recognized. Take a look around. Give these folks a round of applause. On the 11th hour of the 11th day, the 11th month of 1918, an armistice marked the end of the war to end all wars, World War I. Years later, in 1954, President Dwight D. Eisenhower proclaimed that this date would now become a day to honor American veterans of all wars, a time for us to join hands for a common purpose. Today, the students and staff of the Marshall Middle School would like to extend our thanks to all veterans. I would like all veterans to please stand. Because, as a little thanks to you, with some help from Hershey's Chocolate, we're going to give you some big hugs and kisses from the Marshall Middle School to thank you for your service. So our Tiger Trade students are going to be bringing you each a little bag of treats to share. Veterans, it's just a small something one day a year. Understand that we appreciate you every day. Thank you once again. I also would like to take a second to thank everyone who helped make this year's Veterans Day program a success. I would like to give a huge special thanks to Ms. Pokart and the middle school arts, who was our middle school arts instructor, and our arts enrichment classes for the awesome artwork that we use each year. And I'd also like to thank the Project Success and Tiger Trade student who helped set up last night and helped me out this morning. Without your help and the help of our fabulous music department, this event would not be possible. So thank you very much for being here. And now we will have American Legion Post 113 retire the colors. Please stand. You may be seated. Thank you so much for attending our program today. Have a Veterans Day